Hey everybody, welcome to our Trending Thursday here on our YouTube channel. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Always glad to be here. Always glad to have you guys here. For those of you who may be new, if you like what you see here as we go along, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. But most of all, I'd like for you to hit the like button. Let's get the likes going so that we can get this algorithm out across to everybody so that everybody can join in on this live presentation. We're going to look at stocks live. We're going to look at the market live. And we're going to talk about what's making the news. In today's theme, I think I wanted to look at what trending industries were doing the best. By the way, if you can hear me, by all means, say something in the comments, let me know that you can hear me. The person that sits side saddle to me, Joey, is my producer. He's the one that makes sure everything is good to go. So let me know that I am coming across loud and clear. And by the way, say hi, Joey. There he is. So he's the guy behind the scenes that makes everything happen, and I just want to make sure that everything is coming across loud and clear. Don't forget, if you're new, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. As a matter of fact, just to let you know, we are currently working on a new stream. As we get closer and closer to it, I'll let you know more about it, but we are working on another live stream for myself and possibly with Patrick as well for another day. To do a live stream as well. Very excited and pumped about that. Hopefully you are as well. And I do want to know in the comments, let me know what you'd like to see in our live streams, especially on Trending Thursdays. What things you would like to see, or what things are tickle your fancy that you would like to see us do here on Trending Thursday or on another live stream. I'd like to have your input because this is all for you. We facilitate Trending Thursday, but it's all about what you guys want and what makes you want to come back to our channel. That's what it's all about, all right? That's what it's all about. So, let's talk about what we do here on Trending Thursday. Like I said, we talk about what stocks are making the news, and today's theme is going to be on what industries are rocking and rolling. So before we get started, we always talk about what's going on in the market. Market is still first and foremost because the direction of market affects about 80% of the stocks in the market. So we always want to be on the right side of the trend of the market. And our news stories always start off with what's making the market do what it do. So we're going to start off looking from that perspective, looking at what news articles I have on the market. Now, the biggest mover of the market, of course, is earnings. As long as earnings is going up and companies report positive earnings and positive revenues, that's going to keep us in a bull market. Now, we've seen recently that the market has pulled back. I think Patrick did a great job on our YouTube channel talking about when a correction can happen. With the VectorVest system and the VectorVest tools, we can really preempt and let you know when the market is really about to crash and not when it just goes down that it's crashing. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But again, I think that Patrick did a really good job of getting you prepared in case the market is about to fall, what to do. And that's the kind of things that I'm asking you about. What would you like to see on our channel to help you guys become better investors? We can do all that we can do, but it's still all about what you want. So let us know. And I see them coming in: option trading, calls and puts, trading strategies, how to get in a stock and out of a stock. Great responses. Option trading would make good topic for a new stream. Daily cast. And that's something that we are looking into. And I think that that's going to be kind of cool to do more live streams, whether they're shorter term when we do them or not. But I think keeping you up to date on what's streaming, what's going on throughout the day to do a live stream, I think you'd like to see that. Like to see more Unisearch features. Now, Robert, keep in mind that a lot of the people that are here on YouTube are not VectorVest subscribers. And to that point, I don't want to give away everything for free. I don't want to give away the farm. So, I know that when we do these things, we are behind a paywall. This is why I try to open up some of the things that we do for those people who are not subscribers, and then hopefully to entice them to become subscribers to the VectorVest software. Keep in mind, 99-cent trial gives you 30-day access to the VectorVest software. All right, so day trading, Patrick did a really good video on how to utilize the VectorVest software from a day trading perspective. But I do like all of the comments that are coming in. Keep them coming in. Between Joey and myself, we will try to look at a lot of these things to help you guys out in regards to what you want to see. All right. So earnings is the big engine that makes a market move higher, keeps us in a bull market. The other side of the fence is what the Fed is doing. The Fed chairman and what they do to keep the economy going. And the three things that they're looking at jobs, they're looking at inflation, and they're looking at interest rates. And interest rates, for the most part, have still been low, keeping the market going higher. Inflation, I still think is a problem, but it's getting better, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well, but it still is affecting the investor. And not only the investor, but the non-investor. Everyday people, inflation is hurting along the way. And at some point when the market runs hot the way that it is and inflation and prices go up, well, are people going to continue to buy or in anything along those lines? And if inflation drives prices higher, what does the Fed have to do? At some point in time, they're going to have to raise interest rates. And before they do that, they'll start tapering on buying of the bonds. Once they start doing that, the market will feel the effect and people will start moving from the stock market to the bond market because they'll get more money there. All right. So jobs. Jobless claims remain near pandemic low last week. And look at this. Employers competing for workers turn to signing bonuses and freebies. Low-wage work is in high demand. And if you go to a restaurant, you see that. And employers are now competing for applicants, offering incentives ranging from sign-on bonuses to free food. And I'm glad I work here. If I worked at a fast food place, that would be bad for me. Yeah, it would be. But with many still unemployed, are those offers working? And there it is, now hiring. And again, I never thought in my lifetime that I would see McDonald's offering a $500, in some cases, have you seen them at $1,000? $1,000 sign-on bonus to go to work at McDonald's. Wow. But they need the workers. And slowly but surely, the unemployment extra benefits due to COVID are going away. People are going to have to start getting out and starting to look for jobs. So jobless claims remain near pandemic lows. My next one is about inflation. As I scroll up, U.S. inflation data lowers the chance of Fed tightening. So the inflation number came in lower than expected, not by a ton, but nonetheless lower than expected. And if that's the case and inflation is not that bad of a problem in their minds, I still think it's a problem, then that may say that maybe they won't taper as soon as by the end of the year. It may take them longer. The longer it takes for them to start tapering on the buying of the bonds, then the market's going to still keep going higher. But as soon as they start tapering on the bonds, people will start leaving the market to go to bonds because the bond yields will rise. The bond yields are low now because the Fed's buying it. But as soon as they stop, they're going to have to make the bond yields more attractive to investors, so bond yields will go up. So we'll see what happens to that. But the consumer price index showed a lower month-to-month increase expected from 0.3 to 0.4. Again, it wasn't a big number, but nonetheless, it was a number that said that inflation is not as bad as everybody thinks. All right, so let's take this to another level. How is inflation hitting the online prices of everything from apparel to furniture? Prices of goods online have now risen for an unprecedented 15 consecutive months. You see that? 15 consecutive months. That's inflation. And when you go and you buy stuff, you remember when you could say, well, I saw this at this price a while ago. Now you go and look at it, it's bigger. All right, so inflation has definitely become a problem. John says, Glenn, inflation is a big problem. How much did it cost you to fill your truck? I bought my sedan for gas, and it cost me about $50. I have a Ford Excursion, 40-gallon tank. at this particular point in time, I'm filling up every time I get down half a tank. So I'm filling up with 20 gallons at a time, and it ain't cheap. It's not cheap. So, but when we look at inflation, think about this. When we look at inflation, the two things that we take out of the equation is food and fuel. And that's always been that way. It's always been that way. But when you go to the supermarket, you feel the price when you go buy food. When you go to the gas tank, you feel the pain when you have to go fill up the tank. So I'm keeping all of that in mind. Can you send a link to the day trade video? Okay, hold on. I got you. Technical now. Okay, fine. So and I'm still keep the comments coming about what you'd like to see. Okay. In what we do here on YouTube. Inflation is hitting categories including pet products, non-prescription drugs, apparel, furniture, and flower arrangements. Flower arrangements? Do you look at flower arrangements? All right, that was kind of interesting about flower arrangements. The changes mean e-commerce transaction on...
Maybe the funeral stuff?
Say again?
Maybe connected to the funeral stuff?
Okay, maybe. Well, not only funeral stuff, what else? Weddings, that kind of thing.
Say that the funerals were...
Funerals was one of the top industries. It was. It's not anymore, but it's always amongst the leaders. All right, so car insurance as well. I hear you, Robert. The changes mean e-commerce transaction on pace to account for roughly $1 of every $5 spent by Americans, up from $1 to every $6 spent. So inflation, I still think, is a problem, but the number came in lower, and that may prompt the Fed not to taper as soon as by the end of the year, maybe going into next year. All right, the last thing I got here is retail sales rebounded in August despite Delta variant. So normally, as we get more inclined to have to mask up and close down and all that kind of stuff, retail sales are still out there. Now, this is not online sales. This is retail sales going out to the store, and it rebounded. Now, it makes me think that you keep hearing the stories that the aggregate salaries of people have been increasing, and this might be confirming that fact. Maybe people have more real money to spend. If retail sales are going up, then that means people have the expendable income to buy things, to include cars. But keeping in mind with the cars, the chip shortage have definitely affected the cars. But retail sales rebound in August. All right, so those are my stories that I have on what's making the market do what it does. Happy wife, happy life. I hear you. Glenn, see, why are you saying Glenn for 2024? I'm not running. I am not running for any congressional anything. There are varied reasons businesses are struggling to get workers. Don't perpetuate the myth it's all due to unemployment benefits. States that dropped them didn't see an expected rise. I do understand that. So it's not that I'm perpetuating any myth. And if it comes across that way, that's not what I'm trying to do. So then if that's the case, who just said that? If that's the case, Peter, I ask the question, why are people not going back to work? Now, there's a couple of answers that I have there. If it depends on what's going on in schools. If schools are not still open or still doing virtual school, parents need to stay home with their kids. I get that. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand that. But if schools are open for the most part, our kids are going back to school, that gives people more of the opportunity to go back to work. All right. And my question still comes up, without trying to perpetuate anything, why are people not still going back to work? So I don't have the answer to that. And if you do, if you have some ideas of why, some other ideas of why people are not going back to work, put it in the comments. I'm very curious to know. So Peter, I'm not perpetuating anything. I'm just stating what I see. And maybe I'm not looking at the picture wholeheartedly. I'll accept that. But for the most part, even after COVID has somewhat of a recovery, I've never seen the service industry this depleted of workers. All right, that's what I'd like. I have never seen in my lifetime this kind of depletion in workers in the service industry. All right, so I'll put it out there. let's go take a look at the indicators that I look at for looking at the market. And I'm going to start off with looking at our VectorVest composite, and I'm going to do something that I never do. I'm going to look at it on an intraday basis. We all know that for the most part, the market was down today. I'm looking at intraday 5-minute bars on the VectorVest composite. I saw this hammer that happened at the time of, and this is intraday, 10:55 this morning. And that's a bullish turnaround or bullish sentiment. What did the market do? The VectorVest composite, which tracks almost 9,000 stocks, it definitely moved higher. I've got two levels of support here, or trend lines. I've got a longer trend line and I've got a shorter trend line. The shorter trend line broke down, still stayed above the longer trend line. Look at that bounce. Look at the 3 and the 8 and look at the market turn around. And our day trading timing signal called the Derby timing indicator, we're now bullish, and now we might even be starting to fill. We didn't have a gap this morning at 9:30. But look at the market now taking out the previous day's close. And I put this up here because we've seen a lot of times the market goes down and by the end of the day it rebounds. And that's exactly what's going on from an intraday perspective today, looking at the VVC, which again tracks almost 9,000 stocks, and look at the market take off and look at the Derby timing indicator go below the value of 1, which a lot of Jockey Club people are here in this room. Look at that rebound, folks. And we use this indicator, and when we look at our day trading room every day from 9 to 10:30, we have a trading room called the Jockey Club. And look at that move. For all you guys that are in the Jockey Club, those orders that I put in this morning in our live trading session should now be doing well and taking hold. All right, so that's intraday. Now I'm going to go look at both the S&P 500 and the VectorVest composite on a 3-month end-of-day basis. So for those of you who are not subscribers, let's look at what's going on in the market from the S&P. The S&P is doing a little bit of a sideways consolidation. I do have a 20-day exponential moving average. And right now, moving averages don't work well when this market is moving sideways or a stock is moving sideways. Right now, it's moving sideways, back and forth above and below that 20-day exponential moving average. But I do have a solid level of support sitting at 446.93. And right now, we're just a little bit higher than that on an end-of-day basis. Volume has been pretty steady along the way. All right, so now let's go look at the VVC again on an end-of-day basis. Bounced off a level of support sitting at $67.39. So when we go and ask the question, when the market falls down like this, are we in a market crash? This is where it goes beyond just knowing if we're in a crash. When we track the movement of that many stocks, this gives us a better picture as to what's going on. In Patrick's video, he got you prepared in case the market continued to fall. But for the last 2 days, we've bounced off a level of support. We've got an open candle today. Look at the wick at the bottom of today's candle. A lot of bullish pressure. So what am I looking at in regards to the market's condition right now? Earnings are still going up. Inflation is still, but interest rates are still low. These are the things that still will push a market higher no matter what you see here and what the market is going down. And every time the market seems to go down, it normally does it for about 5 days. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rebound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rebound. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another, and look at the rebound again. Now, let me ask the question out to you guys real quick. Do you think the market still has legs to the upside, yes or no? Let me hear that. All right, let me hear that. Do you think the market, now, based upon what I just explained to you from the market and your own analysis of the market, do you think the market still has legs to the upside? All right, I'm very, I'm seeing a lot more yeses than no. I agree with you. I think that the market still has more upside potential right now due to the things that I talked about, due to the things that are still making the market go higher. But I'd like Bob says, not much. And I will agree with that to a certain degree as well. Why? Because what goes up must come down. Markets can't go up forever. And I do think that the market is getting tired, and we are looking for a catalyst to make the market really, truly crash or go down or correct or reset. whatever you want to look at it. However you want to look at it, the market is still getting tired. And, but the market right now, I showed you with the intraday market today and what's going on today, we bounced off a clear level of support on the VVC at 67.39, and the volume is still right in place, all right? Yes, earnings are still coming out high. I agree with you, Ninja. How do you join the Jockey Club? I'm currently a subscriber. Raphael, give our product support staff a call, and they will help you up hook you up to a trial to the Derby for our Jockey Club presentation. The Russell has not participated, and if it does, that would be a rotation in the smaller companies. So, John, why is it that the Russell is not participating? Well, we're not in that growth phase right now, growth stock phase. Right now, the stocks are rotating over to value. People are buying into stocks that are undervalued that they're willing to hold for the longer term, whereas growth stocks are stocks that have the potential to pop real quickly. I'm thinking that right now, with the way that the market is going, people are moving from growth stocks more so into value stocks, which tend to move up slower. So that's a good observation, and I think that is why the Russell is not participating into what's going on right now. Where else can you make money? I don't know what a GIC is, Michael, so I apologize for that. Market has legs to the upside, but in medium term. So I agree with all of you that it does have upside, but I still think that the market overall is getting tired. All right. Any other questions on what's going on in the market? Because if not, I'm going to go to my next story. And remember, the theme today is looking at stocks that are in rockin' industries. So how about the hottest industry in VectorVest right now? Does anybody have any idea what the hottest industry in VectorVest is right now? Type it in the room. How many of you know what the hottest industry in the VectorVest software is? And we track 225 industries. What's the hottest industry right now? As I take a sip of water. Anybody? Oil, that's a good answer. Uranium, that's a good answer as well. Mining, energy, NVIDIA, mining, uranium. All right, uranium, all of those are in the top. But nobody has told me what the top industry is. I see steel. I see a lot of uranium. Uranium, for the most part, is number one. All right, uranium is number one. That wasn't the one I was looking for, but the one that I was looking for is actually number two. But uranium is number one. So let's talk about some stocks that are in that industry. Here's a stock. Why Energy Fuels, UR Energy, Uranium Energy, and Denison Mines stocks all surged today, and that was Friday. That was last Friday, September 10th. All right, uranium mining stocks were hot on Friday. As Financial Times reports today, the price of uranium yellow cake has soared to its highest level since 2014. Uranium is on the rise. Funerals, Barry, was number one. It's not right now. And Imanu, that's the number two industry. We'll get to that in a second. As private investors bid against nuclear power companies for access to the fuel, Sprott in particular reports Financial Times has snapped up 6 million pounds of physical uranium. That's a lot of pounds, worth about $240 million over the past couple of months. All right, bringing its total holdings to 24 million. All right, so now let's talk about that. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go to our viewers tab, and this is our watch list for today. We're going to look at 15 stocks. We already looked at the market from a market perspective, so I took those out. We've got 15 unique stocks to look at today. So the two stocks that I want to look at from the standpoint of uranium is UUUU and DNN, which is the last one. Interesting, in a hot industry, you would think that industry would pull this stock up, and it just might. So why do I like this industry, and how do I know it's the hottest industry? I'm going to right-click on the stock, and I'm going to go view the industry graph. All right, let's go see what's going on with that industry real quick. And the uranium industry, look at that uranium industry. Now, it's down today. All right, this is an end-of-day view, a 3-month end-of-day view on uranium, looking at the 20-day exponential moving average. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Run. Today, we got a little bit of a dark cloud pattern on the candlestick pattern. Could that be a reversal? We'll have to see what happens with tomorrow's candle. But look at the run-up. That's one way I want to look at it. I'm going to show you another way. I'm going to go down to the industry viewer. All right, and from the industry viewer, what's the number one industry? Uranium, followed by crypto, followed by connectors, transportation, ship, and a few of these is what we're going to look at today. But the number one industry in the VectorVest system is mining uranium. Now, if you're a VectorVest subscriber, I can show you something. If you're a VectorVest subscriber, I can right-click on that industry and view the stocks in that industry group. How cool is that? And I'm going to put this, I'm not going to give away everything. I'm going to put the top 5 in here. All right, and here they are. UUUU is one of them, is number 5 out of 23. It's number 5 out of 23, so we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about another lower dollar one. How about all of them are buy recommendations? Not all of them are fundamentally sound, but it's in a hot industry, and these stocks should do well if the industry is hot. All right, so let's go back to my watch list viewer, go back to 9/16/2021. Let's go look at my 2 stocks in this space, UUUU and DNN. Now, I like DNN only because it's a lower dollar stock in the space. It does have positive earnings growth, negative earnings. So does UUU, negative earnings, but positive earnings growth. The fundamentals on these stocks, on either one of these stocks, are not the best. They really aren't. But it's in a hot industry, and you heard of the statement, birds of a feather flock together. So I'm going to right-click, view the graphs. Look at that. On a 3-month graph, UUUU, look at that run up, just like the industry, a little down today, but look at the wick at the bottom of the candle. That's still a lot of bullish move. A lot of the bulls still pushing the price higher, even though it's still lower than yesterday's close, and look at that volume. And then my other one, DNN, look at that. It's a lower dollar stock in this space. All I want you to do, if nothing else, is keep this on your radar, folks. I like to look at some low dollar stocks in rising industries because they may have the biggest potential for an upside move. A little bit of a pullback today, but clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average. Not as solid on volume, but still good volume nonetheless. Imanu says, UUUU is my favorite, and I've accumulated since $3 and 3.8. And I still like the stock's price moving up. I really, really do. And I agree, URNM is another good stock. Remember, I showed that there was 23 stocks in that industry. I only pulled 2 of them to keep them on their radar. All right. So I like the both of them. If the industry is the number 1 industry, these 2 stocks should start rising. Anybody got any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Sprott upgraded its fund from $300 million to $1.3 billion based on massive demand, and that is on uranium. Uranium is moving. GICs is guaranteed income certificate from Canadian banks paying an average of 1.5 in interest. So if that's that's probably more so in the Canadian market than the U.S. market. I don't even know if we track them in the Canadian market. All right, so. I like what the people in the room, hit the like button. All right. If you like what you see here so far, hit the like button. And I love the comments. Keep the comments coming. I'd like to hear what you have to say about these stories. All right. With that, let's move on to my second story. Actually, my third story. And this one is on crypto. Is Mara stock a buy amid Bitcoin volatility? Here's what Marathon Digital stock chart shows. So I wanted to look at Mara. There's a couple of stocks in this space I want to look at. I want to look at Mara. I want to look at RIOT. I want to look at HUT. HUT 8 has been rocking and rolling as far as bit miners. How many of you know about HUT? Just type a me in the room. How many? And CCJ is a great stock in the space of uranium. Cameco, I do like that stock. I don't know if, wait, hold on. I don't know if that's in that same space, but I do like CCG. All right, so you do know about HUT, and HUT has been a stock that's been rocking and rolling like nobody's business, and it is a bit minor like Mara and RIOT. And I also want to talk about coin since we're talking about cryptocurrency. All right, so this was the only story that I pulled up on it. Oh, no, I didn't. I got a story on HUT. The $150 million reason that HUT 8 mining stock is plunging today, and that was late. That was way earlier today. But the stock overall has been rocking and rolling. Indeed, shares of HUT stock are currently down approximately 15% or more than 3 times the average daily volume. This move is significant as it represents a divergence from the company's peers, such as RIOT and Mara. Of course, there's a key catalyst driving today's price action. Let's take a look at what's behind the move in crypto. Among the benefits of being a publicly traded, I don't want to read that. However, when an equity issuance comes in at a serious discount to where given price, a company's stock price is trading, investors take notice. Today, HUT revealed the pricing for its previously announced equity issuance expected to close this week. The issuance of 17.6 million shares at the price of $8.55 a share is substantially lower than yesterday's close of $10.37. That's why HUT got smoked today. Accordingly, investors may wonder if the institutional demand for HUT stock is as strong as it once was thought to be. All right, so now let's go take a look at the stock. So we're going to look at Mara. Now, in this list of 15 stocks, these are all sorted by our master indicator, VST. So Mara is number 3 in the list by our indicator, VST. HUT is number 5. And then we've got RIOT. And then, was that it? And we got coin. Coin is at the bottom. Coin is at the bottom, towards the bottom, but here's my 4 stocks in regards to looking at crypto stocks. I'm going to highlight them, and let's take a look. Which ones are the better ones to get into? All right, there's Mara. Now, Mara was on a run, was loving it, now pulled back, now consolidating, currently below the 20-day exponential moving average, but nonetheless, I like the bottom left, top right, a little bit of a pullback, run up, a little bit of a shooting star pattern with some follow through. The stock is now consolidating. Doesn't make it a bad stock. It just means that you need to let the stock come to you. But now when I look at HUT's got a better looking graph, bottom left, top right, pulling back, but still above the 20-day exponential moving average. Volume for the most part is okay. Not great, but okay. But this does concern me, a pullback from the high, but still sitting above the 20-day moving average, 20-day exponential moving average. And look at the wick today, touched that level, and now still open candle. I like HUT still. Mara is doing a little bit of consolidation, and below the 20-day, HUT is still above the 20-day. Look at RIOT now. RIOT doesn't even look good as Mara does. Mara, I think, is the better play out of RIOT and Mara, but I still think HUT is even a better play right now than just Mara. RIOT, on the other hand, both in the space of crypto mining below the 20-day exponential moving average and still falling, and also broke through a level of support. So if I'm looking in the space, if crypto is moving and crypto is rising, I like HUT out of these 3. Now, let's go down to coin for the other part of it. It's also consolidating, sitting in a channel right here. We all were here when we did the live IPO here on YouTube for coin. It's had its run, and this shows a lot of the inconsistency or volatility when it comes down to cryptocurrency. It is there, but trending, look at that from the high, trending lower. If I draw a freehand line, trending lower nonetheless from that high. Let's go make that a little darker for you. Its overall coin is in a down play, is in a downturn, and below the 20 and below a level of support. So if I'm looking at all of these, HUT is the one that I like the most. I do see that it pulled back, but it is still currently above the 20-day exponential moving average. What is a hot stock? When the stock is about to go parabolic or when the stock is about to be short to hell? So Lou, when I'm looking at a hot stock, I'm trying to find what's the whole idea when you're investing in the market? To buy low and sell high. So I'm trying to identify opportunities when a stock first crosses above a 20-day moving average, or in the 3-8 cross, or breaks above a level of resistance. Those are and when they start to move, that's when I consider it more to be a hot stock, more so than the stock has run, now pulled back. I still think that HUT's got some hotness still involved with it because it is above the 20-day exponential moving average. All right, RIOT has the highest RV. I totally understand that. All right, HUT's got an RV sitting at 1.31. This should outperform the market by 31% over the next 1 to 3 years. So what did you say? RIOT. Let's go look at RIOT. RIOT's got an RV of 1.63. So it's got good upside potential, but short term, am I ready to play it right now or stay in the stock? That's the answer. If I'm looking to play the stock now, remember, this is trending Thursday. If I'm looking to play the stock now, I think HUT would be the better play. Does that make sense, Raphael? Yes, RIOT does have good upside potential. But right now, RT is below 1. The stock is definitely in a downtrend. If I go look at HUT, RT is above 1 in an uptrend. Short term, I like HUT. Long term, over the long haul, I like them both because both of them have RVs above 1. Does that make sense, Raphael? And I like that we don't only tell you the what stock to look at, we give you the why behind it. And a lot of people on YouTube tell you just the what. We're going to tell you the what and the why, and why we like. So I'm with you in regards to the analysis on RIOT, but if I'm looking to get into a stock now, I'm thinking that more HUT might be the way to go. HUT is adding more shares. Let me move that over. HUT is adding more shares. Maybe that's the reason for going down, and that could be if they did they buy more shares or did they issue more shares? I didn't see a story on that. If they're issuing more shares, then that definitely can pull the stock's price a little lower. All right, that could definitely do that. All right, any other questions on the crypto space? Any other questions on the crypto space? All right, remember, today's theme is trending industries today. All right, and if you haven't already, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. All right, if you like what you see and you like the analysis and it makes sense, hit the like button. Let me know. All right, let's get to my next story. All right, so we looked at uranium. We looked at crypto. What's the next hot industry? Oh, buddy, transportation ship. Global Ship Lease declares a quarterly dividend. So now this industry is starting to rise on its 8.7% Series B cumulative redeemable perpetual preferred shares. Any company that either declares a dividend or raises a dividend makes it really attractive to investors. And especially in an industry that's starting to move right now, this makes this doubly attractive. The industry is rising and it's now declaring a dividend on it. This is making this stock super duper attractive. So that's one stock that's in this space. How about this one? Star Bulk, outpacing its transportation peers this year. So now you've seen me talk about a stock on YouTube a lot called CTRM, Castor Maritime. I've done a few videos on it, and finally it looks like it's breaking out. It's been a tough stock to hold. It is a low-dollar stock that has been growing their fleet, and all I've been looking for is for China to start increasing their imports because these shipping companies are going to be the primary wave that stuff gets from China out to the rest of the world. And China is the main player in there because they got what? More people than anybody. All right, so I've been waiting for that in CTRM and Star Bulk and Global. All of these companies are starting to move. And then here's Castor. Why Castor Maritime and Sea Energy stocks pop today? And it talks a little bit what happened following the wake of the fellow dry bulk shipping docks, shipping Diana Shipping, Safe Bulkers. We've been trading that in our trading room in the Jockey Club. Sea Energy, which is ship, and CTRM surged ahead of the close, up 12 and 13%. All right, and so let's go take a look at those stocks. Before we do that, let's highlight any one of them and look at where they sit. Safe Bulkers, number 1 in here. Global Ship, number 2 in here. Star Bulks, number 4 in here. CTRM is the weakest of them, sitting more towards the bottom of the list. But watch this. I'm going to right-click on the industry, on the stock. Let's go look at the industry graph. All right, as we pull that up, it's taking a little slow. There we go. Look at this industry. Look at this industry. Recently jumped above the 20-day exponential moving average, went through 2 levels of resistance here and here, now hitting a new 3-month high. The stocks in this industry are moving. All right, the stocks in this industry are moving. CMRE not on your list. Remember, I'm only looking at a few of the stocks that are in the space. I can't look at all of them. So keeping that in mind, I like the move on the industry. The volume is there. Hot industry, that's the reason why I'm looking at it today. Safe bulkers, top of the list. GSL towards the top. Star Bulk, look at that, and CTRM is the last one. But all of these stocks have RTs above 1 because they're all rocking and rolling. SB, GSL, all of them have good relative value. So not only are these stocks moving in an industry that's moving, all of these stocks should outperform the market over the next 1 to 3 years. That gives good insight to long-term movement on these stocks. Let's right-click on these stocks that I've had highlighted. Let's take a look at them. Wow. Star Buckles, bottom left, top right, a little bit of a pullback, but look at that hitting an all-time 3-month high today. A little bit of a spinning top type of a pattern, but a lot of bullish pressure in the big wick at the bottom of the candle. But I like a 3-month high today. Next one. Wow. Global Ship, look at that. That stock is rocking and rolling nicely above the 20-day. Nice movement on volume. A little bit down today, but all together definitely moving in this in an industry that's moving higher. Now, Star Bulkers, look at that wick at the top. That's a lot of selling pressure. Now challenging a level of support sitting at $24.46 after it was in a channel, but still above the 20-day exponential moving average. Volume is pretty good overall. Not all bars are above the average volume, but steady volume nonetheless. But Star Bulkers is the one that does have some selling pressure with the big wick at the top. If you own it, leave it alone. If you don't own it, I'd like to see the stock take out that high. And the last stock, CTRM, this has been a tough stock. Yeah, I've been talking about it on YouTube, but maybe looks like it bounced off a level of support, sitting at a value of 188, went above the 20-day exponential moving average, a little selling pressure. I've got fibs on here right at that level of 23.6 or so. I needed to break above that. It did it today, but pulled back down. I'd keep my eye on CTRM, but finally looks like it's wanting to take off. And personally, for the sake of transparency, I do own that stock. All right, so those are my stocks in that space. It's number 5 in our industries. It still is a hot industry, and these stocks should continue to move higher. They will be pulling back and resting soon from handles on cup and saucer. I don't know how to actually see a cup and saucer pattern. I have a hard time seeing that pattern. That's why I primarily play candlestick patterns. I have a hard time seeing head and shoulders and cup and saucer type scenarios in a graph. So I stick with moving averages. I stick with support and resistance, those kinds of things to help me with that. All right. So if there's no questions, I'm going to move on to my next story. Glenn, how many bars do you have for support and resistance? 300 other. I look at 100 bars. So when I look at a graph on support and resistance, because I'm more of a swing to day trader, I look at 100 bars, not 300. Glenn, you should get a cut from Castor Maritime when they become successful. You've promoted them so much. Listen, it's not that I've promoted them. I've used the VectorVest system to bring to the forefront this stock way early in the game when the stock was lower dollar but always had a relative value above 1 with positive earnings and positive earnings growth rate. This is why I've been hot and heavy on Castor Maritime. Nothing more, nothing less. The stock is currently undervalued. It's got everything that I'm looking for with the exception of safety. It's got everything that I would be looking for to find a quality low dollar stock. Why have you missed out on Zim in the shipping? Diana, remember, I only look at most 3 or 4 stocks in any one industry. There's a lot of stocks. Diana's shipping I could have had in there. Zim I could have had in there. I picked out 4. So it wasn't like I didn't like Zim. It was one of the stocks in there, but I can't look at all of them. All right, I couldn't look at all of them. Under watch list, I can't find trending stocks for today because that's not automatically set up there for you. I make that. I make that here for you for the presentation. So you will not have it. All right, you will not have it. But I've got to put these stocks together for you every week for Trending Thursday. So I've got to build the watch list. All right. How many likes we got? Can we hit the like button a little bit more? Especially, well, how about this? Only if you see the benefit behind utilizing these stocks in the data. Hit the like button. Now, not everybody may find the same benefit. And if that's the case, I totally understand. But if you find the benefit in looking at or utilizing the data that we're providing for you, by all means, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. All right? All right. So I'm going to go to my next story. Next story. Next industry. Oil. Oil's on the rise again. Why? This is big. Oil stockpile dropped 6.4 million barrels last week. That means our supply of oil is dwindling. The demand is not changing. But if the supply is not there to support the demand, prices will go up. Keep your eyes on oil. When the stockpile drops or we hit less of our own oil that we're using or supply, it will drive stocks prices or oil prices higher. How about this? Oil rallies to 6-week high as U.S. crude stockpiles tighten. That was done yesterday. This was yesterday's story. So as the stockpiles, as the supply of oil drops down, oil will be on the move. All right, so now I've only looked at a couple of stocks. That was the stories. I've only looked at a couple of stocks for you in regards to this, and the two stocks are WTI. I always look at WTI, but then I always like to look at an ETF. I like an ETF, and this is a 2-time ETF. I like the ETF because it exposes you to less risk. Instead of having to find and pinpoint a specific stock, I can play the whole industry. So if oil is rising, I'm going to look at the 2-time leverage ETF Gush. All right, let's go take a look at them. And with the supplies dwindling, these should start taking off. Now, the question is, how do you know when a stock or an industry is hot? This is a good opportunity if the story holds true that these stocks should start rising, and we're going to look at an opportunity of buying low. The stock did break through a level of resistance. Number one, came back down, but currently still is above the level of the 20-day exponential moving average. Let's look at Gush. Gush is starting to move. And I think, again, this is a better way to have less exposure to the industry by trading the ETF rather than trying to pinpoint individual stocks. Look at that. Above the 20-day exponential moving average, broke through one level of resistance. I've got 2 more levels to go. I got a price target on Gush sitting at about 103. Currently, it's trading at 78. Keep that on your radar, folks. And I think that this is a good, safe play to play the whole industry. That is a hot industry. It's number 12. Right now, it's number 12 in our industries to get in at a good price before it starts to take off. I think that as long as we continue to go after our supply and dwindle our supply, demand is not going to change, but with the lack of supply, it's going to raise prices on oil. Keep your eyes on this. Keep your eyes on this. And I like Gush. Today, a little bit of a hanging man formation. Could it be a reversal? I don't think so right now. One day doesn't make a trend. I like that it's above the 20-day, but the biggest story for me is that the supply is getting smaller. And I think that's going to continue to drive oil prices high. Gush should be a good play. All right, any questions on my oil stories as I continue to drink my cup of water? I had enough Cafe Bustelo today. If there's no questions, oh, dude, you are so awesome at mentally processing all the chaotic info at the same time. Thank you for that, Dave. Somebody said I need love. Who needs love? Do I need love? What did I do? You missed out on, I didn't do that. Okay. So I like that. Thank you for that, Dave. I appreciate it. And you know I always like to have fun when I'm doing it. All right. And you know something? If I can make this especially for a newer investor. If I can make this more understandable, this then turns on lights and opens up doors for you to do better and make better decisions, right? So I take the stories, and just because the stories are the stories doesn't always mean it's the right play, right? Doesn't always mean it's the right play, but at least, again, it's not just the what. Hey, go buy this stock because the news says so. It's the why behind it, why I want to buy it or why I want to stay away from it right now. And that's what it's all about. Is there a way to share the watch list? Could you share your watch list? And the answer to that, Sam, is no. I build this, and that's the beautiful thing behind the VectorVest software. You can build your own watch list. And when I do this, this is hopefully setting you up to be able to go look at news on your own, put these into your own watch list, and do the same kind of analysis on your own on stocks that you find. Does that make sense, Sam? So this is a good way of teaching you how to do that. When you find stocks that are hitting the news, build your own watch list and do the same analysis. All right. So with that, my last story is on 3 stocks that I found, 3 stocks of interest, 3 stocks that caught my attention that I wanted to share with you as well. All right. And Roger says, I just looked at Zim. It looks good. And again, I think that no matter what stock, DSX, no matter what stock you pull up in the shipping industry, they should all look good. All right. Because you saw how that industry looked. And it was number 5 as far as best industries in the software. So I'm with you, Roger and Diana, that these are stocks, the stocks in that industry are good. I just couldn't look at all of them. All right. I just couldn't look at all of them. All right, let's go back out to my stories, and let's look at my last 3 stocks. Microsoft. I know you guys all heard about what went on with Microsoft, didn't you? Microsoft peaks into record territory after dividend is raised and a new $60 billion buyback. That's huge. Microsoft is a good, solid company, and I just think they just made themselves more solider. Solider? That's not a good word, is it? Okay. Anyway, I think that they just made themselves a little bit more solid in what they did. And the raising the dividend and the $60 billion payback, I salute them. And we're going to look at what that means for the stock. Well, you know me, I'm an Apple guy. And Apple is relying on the new iPhone 13's camera to power record sales. How many of you watched the Apple event? Type of me in the room. How many of you looked at the Apple event this week? You know me, I couldn't watch it live because I was at work. But when I went home, I watched it and looked at all of the new products that are coming. And I turned around and I said, okay, I said to my wife, I said, wife, I do say that. I said, wife, I'm ready to get the new iPhone. She moved over from T-Mobile to AT&T. I said I was going to move over to AT&T with her, but I wanted to wait for the news on the new Apple iPhone. A couple of people did. Some people said no. Lynn, don't you like Apple? Everybody knows that Glenn loves Apple. I'm a big Apple fan. I still think it's the best stock in the world, but it's not always the right time to buy it. I totally understand that. And currently, I do own Apple. I own like 100 shares of Apple. So, I always like to be transparent. I do own Apple. And right now, I'm thinking that with the new releases, and this is cyclical. Every time they come out with the new products, Apple then takes a turn to the upside. That normally happens. And let's go see if it can be powered to record sales. The new devices it's the best one. It's the best one. It's the best one every time. I never have purchased an Apple product, only Microsoft and Google here. I got you, John. I got you. AT&T is the single worst carrier here. You know, I've been hearing that too. I had AT&T. Who's your carrier?
AT&T.
Do you like AT&T?
Yeah.
I had AT&T a while ago. Then I moved over to T-Mobile. I think I want to go back to AT&T. I guess it all depends on your area. All right, and the last stock in my list today, Amazon. Rivian aims to raise as much as $8 billion in IPO sources. And why is this important? Rivian, the Amazon.com backed electric vehicle, making that registered last month for a stock market debut, is aiming to raise $5 to $8 billion with a listing, making it one of the largest U.S. public offerings in recent years, according to the people familiar with the matter. I think that we probably would need to do a live stream when it comes out. And this works twofold. You know that Amazon is working on autonomous cars. Well, guess what? If they've got an electrical vehicle that they're backing, this may put them in a good spot to work more diligently on getting on that autonomous car. So I think that this is good. Both for the IPO, which is not out yet, but definitely for Amazon, which is why it caught my list as stocks of interest to include my 3 stocks of interest. All right, so I'm going to minimize that, and let's go look at these stocks: Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. All right, all 3 of these are good, solid stocks. The fundamentals on them are good: relative value and relative safety. These are all solid companies, but I wanted to look at the news to see if it could have a more positive effect on my ability to consider buying the stocks if I was not in them at all. The best way to benefit from this IPO is to buy Amazon. You know, Ashok, I would not say no to that. I think that when it comes out, it will affect Amazon stock to the good side, as well as we'll see if it's got the legs once it comes out to continue rising, because it probably, with all of the buzz, it's probably going to shoot out the gate up. But you saw that with Coin, right? When Coin came out, but that stock fell hard. That stock fell hard. I don't think that when Rivian comes out that it's going to pull back like Coin did. But we can only see, we'll only see, right? Let me right click. Let's go view the graphs on these stocks. All right. So Apple, currently below a 20-day exponential moving average. I hear you. Let's put earnings on. After last earnings, the stock's price did go up, but pulled back. And with the news, maybe this could be the news to push it up. Right now, if you don't own it, I would definitely wait for the stock to go above that 20-day exponential moving average. And number 2, get above this level of resistance of 149.92. As I mentioned, I do currently own it. I've sat through this pullback right now. And with this news in regards to the iPhone 13, again, I think it's cyclical, but I think it's setting up for the stock to go higher. So if you're not in it now, again, I'd like to see it break through this level of resistance and break above the 20-day exponential moving average. People like me, you know something, I'm going to give you a line in the sand to sell, and it's going to be right about, actually, no, I'll leave it at this level of support, sitting at 142.11. If Apple falls below that level, that's probably a good opportunity to get out of it. Rivian will take a long time to get profitable. Ashok, I don't deny that. But I think with it being backed by Amazon, it may not be as long as you think. All right, and that's the big story here. I don't think it's going to be as long as you think. All right, Apple is a buy and a hold. Right now, right now I do own it. It's a hold. If I'm not in it, though, I'd like to see the stock come off this level right here and start moving up higher. All right, my next stock, Microsoft, again, solid company. With the buyback news, look at the stock's price now peeling away from the level of the 20-day exponential moving average, but it's got headwinds sitting at this level of 305.84. That's the 3-month high, and it created a good solid level of resistance right here. I would like to see the stock take out that level, but the stock's price is definitely moving from the bottom left to the top right. The news is driving it higher, but it's got to break through that level of resistance if I'm not currently in it right now. All right, and the last stock in my list is Amazon, a little choppy. So Ashok is right. I think that when the stock does debut, it will affect Amazon in a good way. I like that it's currently above the 20-day, even on the pullback and retracement from this level of resistance of 35.52. Look at that pullback, but still staying above the 20-day exponential moving average. Long term, I still like this stock. Would like to see it break above this level of 35.52 before I buy it if I'm not in it. This stock's got good upside to the level of about 37.73 over the last 3 months. All right, so these are my 3 stocks of interest that caught my eye in the news, and at least something to keep on your radar, especially with the IPO coming up here. I wish I kept Microsoft from when I bought it in 1992 when I opened my brokerage account. Well, I think a lot of people feel the same way, John. All right, is Exro a good company to buy now? I own Exro. That's another company that I do own. I'll take a look at it when we look at going through stocks. Glenn, sell those covered calls against Apple and buy your Apple gear. John, you know me. I own only about 100 shares. I could sell one contract and generate some income. I could. So I can let the Apple stock, I can let the Apple stock buy my Apple products. I'm with you. All right, so we did look at Bros this morning, Marcus, in our trading room, but I'll take a look at it as well. We did look at Bros. That's a new IPO, and I'm really skeptical about buying IPOs when they first come out, because they got to prove themselves. Ashok is right. They do have to prove themselves. But I still think that Rivian is probably going to be a little bit more profitable more quickly than you think, because Amazon is backing them. All right, that's my personal opinion. All right, if there's no more questions in regards to the stocks that we've talked about right here, again, if you haven't already, hit the like button. Hit the like button. We got a lot of people in the room. Hit the like button, especially if this information was useful to you. All right. So what do we do now? I'm going to go build me a watch list of stocks, empty this watch list. All right. And it's time for you to put your stocks in that you want me to analyze. All right. I've got some stocks that you've talked about right now. BYND, Zim, DSX, XRO, XROF, right? EXROF, Bros, AMPY. All right, let's go see what other stocks are coming in. NXST, GDP. You done with GDP? Yeah, you know me. We already looked at Spider, Walter. That was one of the first stocks that we looked at. Generac, GNRC, very useful. Thank you for that, David. KPLT, Eagle, EGLE. That's in the retail. Oh, nope, that's another shipping company, isn't it? GNK, I already got NET, THCX, RSI, don't have RSI. What else do I want? Pfizer, PFE, Lucid, LCID, yep, apps, two more, Metamaterials, New Person, John, got your TPOR. All right, for transportation. That's a good way to be too. All right, any person I did not put a stock in for, if you go, I need one more stock. CTXR gives me 20. CTXR. Any stock that I did not pick up, if you look below this video, there's a link for a free stock analysis report. All right, and we will send you out an analysis. We'll email you an analysis on your stock as well. All right, with that, the reason why I started building a watch list now is because the stocks that have the best combination of VST will automatically come to the top of the list. Diana, you wanted to talk about Zim? How about it's number 1 on the list? How about another stock in the same industry, DSX, is number 2 on the list by VST. So as you all gave me your stocks, you can now see where they sit to where everybody else's stocks are in here in regards to VST. This is the reason why I put that in there. So as I mentioned, all of the other stocks that you're putting into the room that I have not looked at, look down below this video. You will see a link for a free stock analysis report, and it will do a lot of what I'm getting ready for you to do now. How about that, Diana? I got you. I got you. Zim wasn't one of my 4 stocks that I looked at, but when we look at it in the list, it is number 1 followed by another. This industry, folks, is rock and rolling. That's why I wanted to talk about this industry. This industry is rock and rolling, and I don't think that you can do any wrong with any stock in this industry right now. So let's do a graph. Let's go look at the 3-month graph. I'm going to look at the 20-day exponential. Look at that. Zim. It looks beautiful. You know what else it looks like? It looks like a plane taking off. That's a beautiful looking equity curve. A little bit of indecision today, but the stock overall is in a 12 above the 20-day, hitting a new 3-month high today. Let's go to the next one. Diana Shipping, a little bit of a pullback today, but look at it. Also nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average. This industry is hot. Transportation ship is hot. All right, let's go to the next stock. Apps. Digital Turbine has been a good stock. It's got good upside potential. It is a safe stock. Right now, it's just in consolidation mode. It is currently above the 20-day exponential moving average, but look at this. Between a level of support 59.19 and a level of resistance of 65.43. Be careful with it. If you own it, leave it alone. It is a hold. If you're not in it, I'd like to see it break above this level of resistance at 67.26. Then I've got upside to the value of about $80.88, which is the 3-month high. I got the idea of shipping from my friend a few months ago. And you know something? You can see that VectorVest shows that it is an industry that is hot right now. Definitely hot. All right, let's go to the next one. Eagle Bulk Shipping, another good company. But I think Diana and Zim are a little better in regards to price movement. It is above the 20-day exponential moving average. But again, that whole statement, birds of a feather flock together. The industry is rising, so the stocks within the industry is rising. But I do like Diana. I like Zim a little bit more than I like Eagle right now, but it's still moving. What else? AMPI, which is petroleum. Remember, I just said that oil is on the move. How about this movement on AMPI? Nice up day yesterday, broke through a level of resistance today of $4.11. It's got upside to the 3-month high of about 451. Put this on a 6-month graph. It does have upside to this level of 467, but definitely moving higher. The industry is moving higher because of the lack of supply. I think anything in the petroleum space should be moving as well, and this is a low dollar stock. I do like that play. All right, let's go to the next one, which is GDP. Good, Gordon Gin, look at that. Again, this one, is the train left? I don't know yet, but the stock is definitely moving from the bottom left to the top right. A little bit of consolidation here, but clearly above the 20-day. Watch the big red bars, though. Watch the big red bars. But as long as it stays above the 20-day exponential moving average on the end of day, I think that's not a bad play at all. Wow, NXT is all over the place. Holy smokes. This is one big consolidation. All right, NXT is one big consolidation. This is more of a trade. This is definitely more of a trade than a longer-term investment. And the only way I'm going to play this is bouncing off support and resistance. That's the only way I can see playing this right now. I don't know any news behind it, but man, I would have to play the bounces or use another technical indicator like stochastics. And right now, the stock is not overbought or oversold. It's in its normal trading range. I would wait for it to get oversold, short it, wait for it to get overbought, buy it, that kind of thing. All right, that kind of thing. All right. Any update on the cannabis bill? Mukesh, I haven't heard anything new on the cannabis bill. It was hot and heavy, and then it was not hot nor heavy. All right, so nothing big on that front on the marijuana bill. Not yet. TMST still supposed to be good, but this one isn't performing. Well, when I look at steel, I'm still looking at infrastructure. Infrastructure is still being fought out in Congress. I still think that infrastructure stocks are going to be a great thing. And if you are a VectorVest subscriber, we already have a watch list for you of 40 infrastructure stocks to keep on your watch list. All right, Generac, nicely moved up, sitting in a channel. It's got to break above this level of resistance, which is 456 before I'm ready to take a look at it. Put this on a 6-month graph. Overall, I like this stock, but it's being held back by that level of resistance. It needs to break above. And even when it hit the new high, look at where the body came back, below that level of resistance. I needed to break above that level of resistance. And looking at stochastics, it's not even overbought or oversold. I thought I had add parameter MACD. I also like to look at MACD. And right now, MACD is turning over a little bit on it and going negative. I'd be careful with Generac. All right, Target. I still think retail is a good way to go. Look at that bounce up. And I think this is a good time for retail going into the Christmas season. All right, we're getting into the end of the third quarter. October, November, December marks the fourth quarter. I think retail is going to start taking off coming closer into Christmas. All right. NXST is Rocketocity. I like that, John. I do like that. All right, let's go to the next stock. PFE, I've done videos on it. That's why it's marked up this way. If you look at my YouTube videos, I put these markings on here so I can look at But Pfizer, and what is my reason why Pfizer is going down? I think it's more so the fight against whether or not there needs to be a booster. That fight is affecting Pfizer. I still think Pfizer's got good upside potential. Look at the relative value above 1, relative safety above 1. It's got good upside potential. It's just right now not feeling it. All right, I'm going to draw you a line in the sand sitting at about $44. That's a good level of support. If it falls below that level, then it's going to have more downside. But right now, it's sitting at a good level of support. I'd like to see it bounce, get above the 20-day exponential moving average. Next one. Wow, net is moving and also looks just like a plane taking off. Love that big candle, good volume. Stock's not in overbought or overto. Oh, yes, it is. MACD, the stock is coming up, getting out of direction of a down. I like that. I do. I'm going to take off MACD for a second. I like that stock. Who gave me this stock? I like that stock. COVID peak, so PFE, mRNA, both BioNTech, etc., are done with their upward momentum. I don't believe that, Imanu. I don't totally believe that. I think COVID is going to be here for a while. These drugs are going to need to be used. I don't fully believe that their usefulness is out of the window. Not yet. In the 1980s, I had to read newspapers to get stocks information. Today, I can watch a repeat of At Glenn all day in tomorrow's. Thank you, Lou. I appreciate that. I do like that stock. That's an excellent looking stock. Next one, Bros. This is a IPO. I don't have enough data on it yet. Fundamentally, it's not sound yet. I don't have enough data on it. And I'm not a big fan of jumping on board with IPOs. So the choice is yours, but it's moving. Nice up day today. Nice up day today after yesterday. Gapped up, still moving up. I'm not telling you not to buy it. I'm just going to tell you just to be careful. All right, I'm going to tell you, just to be careful. CTXR, woof. Stock is falling. I got a level of resistance sitting at $2.41. I needed to break above that. I've got a level of support right here, but I've got a level of resistance. It's got to break above that. I do have an upside potential on a 6-month graph sitting at the value of 456, which is twice what it is right now, which is a 100% move. I needed to break above that level of resistance first, sitting again at 241 before I could feel it. I got no news on it either, all right, but the stock is just leveling out. I'd like to see the move. All right, let's go look at stochastics. And it's oversold. It is oversold. So it could be setting up for a rebound. CTXR could definitely be setting up with a rebound. Novavax, what's happening in this stock? The whole industry is going down, Sunils. That's what it is. The whole industry is going down. All right, let's go to the next stock. TPOR, looking at transportation. Now, this is not as just transportation ship. This is transportation, ship, transportation, truck, transportation, plane, everything dealing transportation. And with transportation ship moving up, it's helping to move this ETF up higher. All right, so with that being said, 2 nice up days. Let's first break above the 20-day exponential moving average. Then the next headwind is going to be sitting at this level of resistance of 40.72. Then it's got another level of resistance at 44.91. Along the way, can you make money? Absolutely. The stock is not in it is. It's a little bit in oversold territory, which is helping to push the stock's price higher. Aggressively, can I get in today? Yes. If I want more confirmation, though, let's wait until it gets above the 20-day exponential moving average, all right? Next stock, KPLT. Ugh. Stock is trending down. It's above the 20-day exponential moving average, but pulling back, retracing from a level of resistance of 773. The good thing is that it's above the 20-day exponential moving average. The bad thing is I needed to get out of its own way. The stock is almost in overbought territory by way of stochastics. Be careful with this. There's other stocks that you can get into. I don't see any specific news on it. The stock is retracing from that level of resistance, and the wick on today's candle is bigger than the wick on the bottom of the candle. It's got more selling pressure than buying pressure. All right, it's got more selling pressure than buying pressure. Looking at cannabis, I'm not a fan of cannabis yet. I'm not a fan. There was a time. This is not it. Cannabis is losing momentum. It's probably one of the worst industries in the software right now. Clearly below the 20-day exponential moving average. I do see the bounce, a little indecision today, but I'd like to see the stock get up above that 20-day exponential moving average. The stock is oversold, so it should have some short-term run, but this is going to be the headwind, sitting at 14.98 as the level of resistance. Okay, XROF. I own XROF. I'm going to hold it long-term because of what it's all about. I've sat through all of this pullback in the stock. I'm down like 27% or so, but I understand what the company is doing and what it will do. Going into the future, I think anything electric motor is going to have to come through XROF, and they're going to be the big boy to contend with. So I still own XROF. Currently, it's below the 20-day exponential moving average. If you don't own it, let's let it get above the 20-day exponential moving average as well. There is a glut in cannabis, and prices just cratered. I am in Oregon market. I got you, Marcus. I'm not feeling the cannabis stocks yet. All right, there was a time, but the time is not now. The time is not now. All right, that's my opinion. Let's go to the next stock, Lucid. Now, EVs might be on the run again, but if you're talking about buying low and selling high, how about Lucid just went above a level of resistance and went above the 20-day exponential moving average? This could be a good buying opportunity up until the level of this high of $29.81. So I've got about $8 I can make on it. I like the early move coming off of support, breaking through resistance, now above a 20-day exponential moving average. This may not be a bad play, but I do have a profit target sitting at a price of about $29.81. I'll just call it $30. All right, that's my profit target, but I like the move. I like the rise in volume along with the move, so there is conviction behind the move. I like the play as a regressing trade. And metamaterial, I did video on it, which was, what was this? Lode, L-O-D-E, was this company that they bought on the U.S. market. This is a Canadian company that wanted to get on the NASDAQ, so they bought a mining company called Lode, and now this is metamaterials. From that, it ran, it fell hard, rode a level of support. Right now, currently above the 20-day exponential moving average. This stock's got great upside to the value of about $21. It's got nothing in between it. I just need to see the stock get some consistency. And right now, it doesn't have that. I do like that it's currently above the 20-day exponential moving average, but I need to see some consistency before I jump on board with it. If you own it, leave it alone. But it does have good profit target of about $21. And the last stock in here, wow, Beyond Meat. So I did see a news article telling people to sell their Beyond Meat. I'm looking at a relative value. I'm looking at a relative value on the stock, low. Relative safety, the stock is risky. RT is at 1.45. So the stock says that it's, hold on. There we go. The stock is not in an uptrend. Negative earnings growth. It was hot when it was hot. I think overall the company doesn't have the fundamentals to keep moving higher right now. That's my opinion. All right, and the stock is trending lower, below the 20-day exponential moving average on the 6-month graph. The stock is way oversold and still going down. So that's what I think about it. All right. With that, that's all of the stocks that you wanted me to look at. I thank you for today's session. A lot of great comments on what you guys are looking for us to do more of. I am telling you that we are looking into doing another live stream. As we get closer and closer to it, I will tell you more about it. But I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the likes. Thank you very much with the amount of people that were here. How many people in this room were this was your first time here? How many people, this was your first time here? Type a me in the room. Type a me. How many of you, this was your first time here? Now, I could have a delay, so I'm just curious to know. And I guess I'm going to follow up for anyone that says me. If this was your first time here, how many of you found this useful? Just type a yes in the room. If you found this useful, type a yes in the room. I like to interact with you guys. So, I mean, the whole idea, I'm seeing some of the me's coming in, absolutely. So I want to say heartfelt thank you for taking the time to spend with us today. All right. Thank you very much for spending the time. And I see the yeses coming through as well. So thank you all for that. This is what we do. This is what Trending Thursday is all about. It's all about you. And that's why I wanted the comments to see what more you want to see. And it seems like options is something that you want to see. You want to also see a live stream, more live streaming. So we're going to work on that. I come every week and I'm loving the software and the help US and UK have made money. Thank you for that, Diane. I appreciate that. Yes, seeing more things to consider. There you go. All right. So with that, folks, thank you for joining me for this week's Trending Thursdays, which, again, the theme this Thursday was trending industries. We looked at some of the best industries in the software. We looked at the stocks that were in the industry to find the news behind it. So it really wasn't that hard, and that was a good thing. And again, I want you guys to be able to use this information so that when you leave from here, you're able to start making money. Market timing is key part of that, John. Definitely key part of that. Why change from 3/8 to 20-day? Gary, 3/8 is more on the lines of a trade. All right, a 3 and 8 exponential moving average. Where I use the 20-day exponential moving average, that's more on the swing trade side. So it all depends on what my goal is when I'm looking at that stock. Am I trying to hold it long term? Then I'm going to look at the 20-day exponential moving average. If I'm trying to get in and out of that stock, or because the stock has made the news and it's gone up and I want to see a good opportunity to get out before I have to take a big loss on profit taking, then I use the 3 and the 8. Does that make sense? Who asked me that? Gary, does that make sense? It all depends on what my goal is on that stock. All right, if I'm looking to make a quick move because the news is making it hot, then I'll use the 3 and the 8. But if I can look at a stock that's rocking and rolling bottom left to top right, then I will utilize a 20-day exponential moving average. All right. So with that, again, thank you guys for all being here. I appreciate it, and for supporting the Trending Thursday on YouTube. So until the next time, folks, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until the next time, folks, see ya.